how to treat your man like a dog. I know when you first hear me say that, it's like, how could you say something so derogatory? But if you actually listen to what I'm about to share with you, you'll realize it's the best thing you can ever do for you and your man. Your man is a lot like a dog in the way that he learns, in the way that he treats you, and in the way that he ends up respecting or disrespecting you. But the problem is, if you don't understand how to speak the language of a dog, you'll never understand how to train one, which is the purpose of today's show, to provide you with that exact guide and understanding. By the end of today's show, you'll know exactly what to say and what to do to train your man, aka your puppy, into the ultimate good boy. Our point number one, which is your man is a puppy. Men are much more moldable as a puppy. And when I say as a puppy, I don't mean when they're young in age. I mean when it's early on in the relationship. What I'm referring to is the idea that early in your relationship, your man is still learning you. He's still trying to understand who you are, what you're about, what he can get away with, and what he can't get away with. Through that process of learning, a lot of different things can take shape. He might realize, oh, wow, my owner, very strict, doesn't let me poop on the carpet, doesn't let me hop on the couch whenever I want to, doesn't let me bark at other dogs. I have to walk with my owner. When I walk, I can't pull the chain. And so all of these things, your man, aka your dog, is learning very young in the relationship. And so you have to understand that this process very early on is the time where you must be training your puppy the most, and where you must be the biggest stickler, the drill sergeant, as I like to say. Because afterwards, as your man grows into an adult dog, meaning as the relationship develops and he's no longer a young pup in this relationship, all of a sudden it becomes a lot harder to teach this, as they say, old dog, new tricks. To have him understand, oh, I don't like that. That's disrespectful to me. I don't appreciate that behavior. Oh, when you want to go about the relationship, you have to go about it this way, because if you go about it that way, that makes me unhappy. When you're trying to do that later on in the relationship, all of a sudden you find yourself frustrated because now you're trying to get him to change his ways from what he's been doing throughout this entire relationship. Point number two, I want to discuss the idea men will take advantage of you when you get soft. Here's the thing. And I think this actually belongs at the front. I wish I could put this at number one, but I had to just explain this first. Men aren't bad people. They're not evil, but they will take advantage of you when they see you getting soft. They're just waiting to see it. And it's easy to get soft because when you feel like, oh, well, I really like this guy, he's really my type. Me and him are really growing in our relationship. So maybe I won't be as hard on him. Or what can happen as well is as the relationship is developing, you feel like, well, I can take my foot off the gas. Maybe I said it one time and then I don't have to say it again. But this is the problem, right? Men understand they need to not just see you act on it or see you say, hey, these are my rules, these are my boundaries, this is what's important to me. But they need to see you be consistent with that throughout the entire relationship. If you start getting soft, meaning if you start allowing him to do things that you never allowed him to do before, he will take notice of that and he'll say, okay, perfect. You were one way and you were being a stickler and you were being a drill sergeant about your boundaries and the things that you won't allow in this relationship and your expectations. But I see now that you're getting lonely. I see now that things aren't, working out for you in terms of the other guys you may have been talking to, or whatever the situation is that has changed for you, it's causing you to get soft on me. When you get soft on me, well, then I get to take advantage of you. Getting soft is about the exceptions that you make and why you're making those exceptions. And this is why I say you're making a mistake when you get soft, because again, your dog is learning you. It's easy to hold the line with the guys that you barely like. But the problem starts when you actually like this guy. Because when you like the guy, I don't want to make him feel away. And we're going so well in this relationship very early on. So you're like, oh, but if I say something now and, I try and address him, it's just a small problem. It's not that big of a deal. If I address him now, it's going to kind of cause friction in our relationship. Maybe he'll be mad that I addressed it. And so then you make an exception. Or you make an exception because you're like, he's really hot. He's really sexy. He's got a big D. He's really rich. And so because he's more of something than the average guy, I make this exception for him. He notices that you're getting soft on him, and then he proceeds to take advantage of you because you're getting soft. When your dog learns that you're gonna get soft in these circumstances, or even it could be because you're getting lonely, he starts saying, okay, perfect. My owner got soft on me. my owner's lonely, or my owner's going through something, or I'm the exception. So now it's time for me to take advantage of her. Just like I talked about earlier, your dog's not inherently evil. Your dog doesn't wake up as a puppy and say, oh, I want to take advantage of my owner. Oh, I want to misbehave. Oh, I want to poop on the carpet. But your dog is understanding, okay, if I inch close to the line, do I get away with it or not? Is there punishment for the things that I do or not? If there's not, I continue that. Because what that says to the dog is I can do what I want when I want to do it, and there are no consequences for my actions. So slowly but surely, even if your dog doesn't start off as a puppy out of the womb trying to disrespect you and be a bad dog, it learns that I can behave however I want to behave. If I want to rip stuff up, I do that. If I want to poop on the carpet, I do that. I pee where I want, I act how I want, I do what I want. As they continuously learn there are no consequences for anything they do, the disrespect increases. And so for point number 4, he tests you because he's checking how consistent you will be. So let's say, for the sake of example, your boundary is, okay, I want my man to be scheduled and planned and organized with when he asks me out on a date. I don't want him asking me out last minute. Now, here's where the test usually comes. And the test comes whether it's with your dog or whether it's with your man. The test comes because when you, let's say, for example, address him, he then proceeds to continue to ask you, let's say 2 weeks later, oh, I'm in your area. Can I pull up on you right now? What he's doing at that point is he heard what you said the first time. He heard you address him. He heard you set the standard. But what he's also doing is he's testing to see, okay, you set a standard, you set an expectation, but are you actually going to be consistent with that standard? The same way, when your dog is growing up, even as a puppy, you might train it one day and be like, hey, this is what I expect you to do. You can't poop on the carpet. This is where you pee. This is where you poop. If I let you outside, that's what you go do. When I walk you, this is how you walk. You're going to train your dog. But even as you train your dog, even when your dog is an adult dog and it's been trained for years, there will be points where your dog will test you. You must expect and embrace the idea that your dog, aka your man, will test you. Embrace it as an opportunity to be a learning lesson for him. He wants to see, are you actually going to be consistent with the things that you told him you will and won't tolerate? And so you must embrace that process and say, today is a great day. My dog is trying me, and I'm going to show it why I am the owner. With your man, embrace, my man, he's going to try me today. He wants to see if I'm going to be consistent. When I show him that I'm consistent, he will fall back in line. For our next point, I want to discuss your presence is the punishment and the treat. I know it sounds weird. How can your presence be both treat and punishment at the same time, simultaneously? The reason for this is because you and access to you is both a good thing. And when you take it away from a man, it can be a very horrible thing for him if, okay, please listen. This is why I said it's probably the most important part of the whole show. If you set it up correctly, where your man has approached you and come to you because he wants access to you. He's like, hey, I see her across the room. She's beautiful. She's gorgeous. She looks amazing. I want to get to know her. And he comes up to you and he says, hey, madame, people don't say madame, what's your name? How are you doing? I want to get to know you, strikes a conversation with you. What I'm talking about is when a man decides for himself, he wants you and he desires you and he wants access to you and he acts on that. What you're doing is you're setting a precedent. This is why I say do nothing for men, because you let them come to you. When they come to you, now you can use this as the foundation of how you give treats and how you give punishment. Because when a man wants you and wants access to you, now you can say, perfect, you want access to me? These are my list of demands. If you are not prepared to meet this list of demands, you will not get access to me. Very simple. When you make the first move without allowing him to make the decision that he wants and desires you and wants to be with you, now all of a sudden you've put yourself in a position where he's not in the place where he came to you and said, I want and desire you. And so because I want and desire you, I am willing to capitulate to whatever your demands are, whatever your expectations are. Now what happens is when you try to give treats by giving access to you or give punishment by taking away access to you, he now says, why would I care about that? For point number 6, you have to reward the action, never the man. So an example of that would look like, let's say a man plans out a really romantic date with you. You hold his hand halfway through. You look him deep in his eyes and you tell him in detail exactly how much you appreciate how he planned this romantic dinner date, how he took you to a spot that you really, really love. It's your favorite spot. It's your favorite thing to do in the city. And you're so glad that you could be with a man as thoughtful as him. And you just go on and on and on about how amazing it is, the thing that he did, the thing that he did, the thing that he did. Actions are the things that you just, you lush over. Oh my God, I can't believe you did this for me. Oh my God, look at how you treat me. Oh my God, what an amazing man you are for doing this thing. Oh my God, what an amazing man you are for taking this action. You act like it's just taking you aback, right? Never, ever, when you're training your dog, when you're training your AKA man, do you ever reward a man by giving him these words of affirmation for him just existing. So an example of giving a man, because this is the wrong way to give a man a dog treat, because it doesn't even end up being a dog treat. It just causes your man or your dog to misbehave. Do not make your man feel like your man is amazing for existing. So compliments like, oh my God, your muscles are so big. I've never seen a man with muscles as big as yours. Oh my God, you're so attractive and sexy. Look at your jawline. I've never seen a jawline as sharp as yours. Oh my God, you're so tall and handsome. I can't believe you're 6'6". Oh my God. Stop. You think that you're giving your dog a compliment that feels good and it's all good, is positive. What you're actually doing in terms of what your man is actually receiving is, oh, you can misbehave because you're way more special and way more better than all the other dogs. Imagine telling your puppy, because you're my puppy and because I love you and because you're so cute, you can poop on the couch, not the outside puppies though. You can rub your butt on the carpet, not the outside puppies though. You can pee all over my bed, not the outside like that would be stupid. Your dog is with you. Your dog is the one that you're gonna have to deal with. Telling your dog that your dog is an exception because you think your dog is super cute and super cuddly makes no sense. All it's gonna do is let your dog know, okay, so what you're saying is I can misbehave, but not any of the other dogs. Okay, perfect, you're my owner anyways, so if you're allowing me to misbehave, I'll misbehave. For point number 7, punishment on the opposite end is silence. It's not you talking to him, it's not you saying things, because this is the thing as well. You might think to yourself, okay, so if I reward him by telling him how much of a good boy he is, how amazing he is, when we have conversation, or when, he takes me out on that romantic date, and I really emphasize that, so then in the opposite, do I sit him down, hold his hand, and tell him how bad he's been for the things that he's doing wrong? No, absolutely not. You never, listen to me very carefully. We're talking about how to train your dog, or train your man like a dog. You never, ever tell your dog that he's been a bad dog. Your dog does not even understand what that means. Just like your man doesn't even understand what it means to be a bad boy. When you say that, he's like, more attention, more energy, more time. My owner seems to be really animated. My owner seems to really be invested in whatever it is that I just did. So ironically, your dog's actually receiving that as continue doing that behavior because that behavior gets you a lot of time, attention, and energy from me, your owner. Do you see how I'm saying when you communicate things or when you say things or do things, that doesn't necessarily mean that's what your dog is receiving. Your dog doesn't understand English, just like your man doesn't actually understand you. I should say your man understands English, but your dog doesn't understand you and doesn't receive you the way that you're thinking he receives you. So what I mean by that is when you tell him, oh, you've been a bad boy. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? You're cheating on me. You're going behind my back. You're texting other girls. Why do you like this girl more? You think her ass is fat. He's like, oh, more attention, more time, more energy. Remember, we just talked about that being a dog treat. We just talked about that being a good thing in terms of your dog's experience. Your dog's like, oh, more time, more attention, more energy from my owner is always great. Your dog loves time, attention, and energy. So imagine if you're giving him the most of that when he does something bad. He's gonna think, let me continue doing bad things. Those bad things get me more time, attention, and energy. So it actually has the opposite effect. So what you wanna do when you're training your dog properly is you wanna make sure during the time you're trying to punish your dog gets absolutely no time, no energy, and no attention. I don't mean, and this is the very important part, he gets, oh, I'm just letting you know, you're typing out on your computer because you want to send it really professional, right? Or you're sending a long big, I'm just letting you know that I'm not going to be texting you today because I'm upset at you. Telling him that you're mad, telling him that you're upset, telling him that you're going to be ignoring him is not making your dog feel like he doesn't exist. In order to do that properly, you must literally act as if your dog doesn't bother you. You don't notice what your dog is doing. You're not even concerned with your dog or his life or whatever is going on with him. Our next point, either he knows what he did and he apologizes. He feels like, well, I'm not getting any attention and something is wrong here in our relationship and in our dynamic. And so he says, well, what's going on? What's wrong? And so that question opens up the floor to you explaining, okay, I don't appreciate when you do A, B, and C. For example, if you actually have a dog and your dog is really used to you petting him anytime you sit on the couch, your dog will literally begin to expect that when you go to sit down on this couch, it like hops up on the couch and sits beside you because it knows that you're gonna pet me at this time whenever you're sitting and you're watching TV. Now, what happens if you, let's say, hey, get off the couch, you push your dog off the couch, yeah, you can't come up here. Your dog's gonna be like, what's going on? Like, why am I not allowed to be on the couch? We're supposed, like, you're supposed to be petting me. You're supposed to be giving me love. Now you're not doing that. Did I do something wrong? Like, your dog's gonna be very confused. This is during the time where, and this is why I say, even if he doesn't apologize because maybe he doesn't even know what he did wrong, he still feels the difference in your dynamic and the shift in your dynamic, at which point he will then inquire about why there has been a shift. And that is when you can interject because you've been prompted by him. You wanna know why the dynamic has changed. You wanna know why you're not getting the same attention, time, and energy from me. I'll let you know. It's because you cheated on me. It's because you went behind my back and you were messaging so-and-so and I found out and da-da-da-da, and I don't appreciate that. And so if you want to get access to me, well, you're going to have to figure out what needs to be done about that. It puts you in a position of power because when he prompts you by saying, I don't like the dynamic and the way that the dynamic has shifted, I want to return back to a place where you're giving me your time, attention, and energy. You get to make your demands on, okay, if you want my time, attention, and energy, these are the things that must change and must be adjusted in order for you to get my time, attention, and energy back. But the choice is yours. This is a very important concept to understand. It is not cute when your puppy misbehaves. Let's use the same example of the guy doesn't really plan or schedule dates with you. So whenever he wants access to you, he always calls you up on the phone and says, oh, I'm in your area right now. Can I pull up on you? Or, oh, I'm gonna be here in an hour. You wanna do something later on today? Like everything is very, very last minute. At the beginning of your relationship with him, it's cute because it's like, oh, we're so spontaneous. Oh, you know, me and him, we vibe. Oh, you know, me and him, we just like, we like each other so much that we just kind of like, we just go with the flow and everything is just kind of flowing and there's a lot of energy and this and that. And so you kind of convince yourself it's like a cute little thing. Just like when your dog is a very young puppy, it's nibbling on your finger, it's doing small little stuff. Oh, it's like scratching at the couch, but its nails aren't big or long enough to really make any damage. So you're like, oh, that's so cute. Oh my God, nibbling on my finger. Oh, so cute. Oh my God. But very quickly, as your dog grows up, and now the scratching on the couch isn't necessarily something that barely affects the couch. Now it actually rips up the couch. Now, you know, pooping in the wrong place isn't just something that's like a small inconvenience where you just pick up a little pebble of poop. Now all of a sudden it's like a really steamy hot poop that smells up the whole entire room. And you see how very quickly something that was cute because maybe it didn't affect you that much early on now becomes a big problem. And then now you're scrambling and you're saying, oh my God, how do I retrain my dog? Because now I'm annoyed because I don't want to live with the hot steamy poop on my carpet all the time. It's exactly why I say, do not think of it or consider it cute when your dog is misbehaving early on. It is not cute. Always think of it as something that you must step on, so to speak, right? That you must address, because no matter how small at the beginning, it will become big when you have to deal with it for the rest of your relationship. Let's go on to our next point here. You must understand what you can and can't tolerate for life. Just like I gave in my example earlier, all of you will have different things. And of course, some of us will have similar things like, hey, I can't tolerate a man cheating on me. I can't tolerate a man who's not loyal to me. Yes, of course. But at the same time, all of you will have your own unique things. Hey, I don't tolerate when a man speaks to me this way. I don't tolerate if a man were to hit me or step out of line or DM a girl or be liking girls' pictures or whatever the case is, right? Everyone has their own things that they feel really strongly about that could be your own version of pet peeves. Whatever you feel like, hey, I definitely am not going to tolerate that for an entire relationship, you must know those things and you must address those things when you see them happening early on in your relationship, no matter how small. Anticipate the fact that if that behavior even happens in a small way early on in the relationship, anticipate that it will probably escalate as time goes on. Because what starts as a small misbehavior can easily become a larger misbehavior when you multiply that by the fact that when he gets more comfortable with you and comfortable in this relationship, the mask will come off more and more and more, and he will start to see if there's no response or reaction or addressing of that bad behavior, well, then I can just continue with that bad behavior. For our next point, I want to discuss the fact that men speak the language of respect, not love. I understand you have your own particular way of loving your man, of loving people around you. Now, I also want you to understand your dog does love, your man does love, he just doesn't love the same way that you love, which is okay. That's fine. Let me help you understand your man's description and understanding of love. Men know how to speak the language of love through respect. The way you answer the question, does my man love me, is by answering the question, does my man respect me? Does he respect my authority? Does he respect my boundaries? Does he respect that when I say I want something done like this, that he does it like that? Or does he disrespect me constantly? Does he make me repeat myself a million times? Does he hear me say, hey, I don't appreciate when you do this, and then proceed to continue doing that thing? When you start understanding your man, AKA your dog, through the lens of, does my dog respect me? Does my man respect me? It will bring you into the right mindset when you approach your relationship with your man, AKA your dog. Because when you say to yourself, I'm not worried about my man adoring me by going to the ends of the earth for me, or I'm not worried about, whether my man tells me a million times a day how much he loves me. I'm worried about, does my man respect me or not? And based on the actions he takes, is that a sign of someone who respects me or not? When you focus on that and you focus on always gathering and garnering respect in your relationship, you will be on the right track to getting your dog to love you, to getting your man to love you. This is part of training your dog properly. You only train your dog properly when you get your dog to respect you properly. This is why boundaries are so important. This is why addressing things, even though they can be hard conversations, are so important. Think about the people that your man respects the most and how he speaks about those people, whether it be his dad or his older brother, or whether it be someone in his life, his mentor, whatever the case may be. Men always speak highly, speak positively of people that they respect. And you'll notice the way that they'll treat people that they respect is different. The way that they speak about people they respect is different. The way that they act around people that they respect is different. This is why I say men don't understand love like you do. Men understand love through the lens of respect. So you want good treatment from your man? Make sure he respects you. You want him to talk to you the right way? Make sure he respects you. You want him to love on you the right way and desire you? Make sure he respects you. Everything comes through the lens of respect first. For our next point, you do not date a man who doesn't want you. The prerequisite to dating a man, the prerequisite to training your dog actually has to want to be your dog. Let me give you an example. You wouldn't go out into the wild and go and find a wolf and then try and make that wolf a dog that you own and is domesticated by you. If that dog is an adult wolf that's happy being a wolf and is outside doing wolf things and eating other animals, that wolf's not gonna be very happy that you're trying to bring it into your house and train it into being a dog. It's gonna rebel because that's not what the wolf wants to do. And so the reason I'm giving this example, same thing with men. There will be some men who they actually enjoy the aspect of being your dog. They actually enjoy the aspect of listening to you and capitulating to you and making adjustments for you because they want to be your man. They have a desire to be your man. They have a desire to be, quote unquote, domesticated as a dog. There will also be men who are more like wolves, wild wolves, where they're very happy doing things their way, doing it how they want to do it. They don't want to be planned or scheduled with anything. They don't want to ask you out on dates. They want to take advantage of you. They want to talk to you crazy. They want to ignore you. Perfect. Great. You let me know that you want to be a wolf. You're not interested in being my dog or being owned by me or being my pet. Cool. That's great. Go ahead, live your life as a wild wolf, or I will allow some other woman to deal with you. It will not be me. Don't stress yourself out. That's why I say don't date men who don't want to even be your man.